President Zelensky, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Dear President of the House, Madam President of the Senate, esteemed members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to tell you that I'm honored to greet you all and truly grateful for the opportunity, today's opportunity to address the Parliament of the Netherlands, and at such a meaningful moment. We are now in the midst of the most intense and focused negotiations for peace since the beginning of this war, for true lasting peace. And we are not talking about a pause or a temporary uncertain solution. We are working closely with partners to finally end this Russian war against Ukraine, and through Ukraine against the very essence of life in Europe. And that's why now we need the same strong political support that we had at the beginning of this war. Back then, the future was shaped by our joint efforts in defense. Today, the future depends on our shared political positions and political decisions. They once needed to root out every cause of this war. The current Russian leader, and after him, all of his propagandists often use the term root causes of the war, as if there is something inevitable that forces Russia to keep fighting, and as if the reasons of Russia's wars were not inside Russia and not a part of its own nature, but instead located somewhere outside, somewhere in Ukraine, in Europe, in NATO, or elsewhere. They always blame others and always try to explain their wars through someone else's actions, as if the reason for their aggression is never in Moscow, but always in their neighbors. Let's look at Russia's history since 1991. From then until today, Russia has changed. It has been poor and rich. It has gone from oligarchy to dictatorship, but one thing has remained the same. It keeps bringing war and hatred. From Chechnya to the Balkans, from Moldova to Syria, from countries in Central Africa to Ukraine, Russia chooses conflict over peace. And Russians always say they're somehow not guilty, somehow. And someone else, not Russia, is always expected to make concessions so that Russia might stop spreading bloodshed. And that's always something they claim must be given up so they can stop killing. Now, in Russia's war against us, our people, our country, this logic has reached its largest and most dangerous scale. Russia has invaded our home. It's destroying our cities, our villages, killing Ukrainians, our children, and at the same time demanding that we give up parts of our land they haven't even managed to conquer. Russia keeps nearly a million strong occupation force on our territory, and yet it demands that Ukraine accept limits on our right to join alliances and on our sovereignty. Russia strikes our infrastructure, our cities and villages, our energy, and blame us in it. And when we strike back, they cry out as if only they have the right to strike and others must stay silent and suffer. That is Russia. And the truth is, we are dealing with a chronic offender. At the root of all the problems and even of every Russian strike is this: Russia behaves like a career criminal who's convinced he will never be caught. Russia feels unsafe when its neighbors are safe, and it feels bad when their neighbors are doing well. Russia is a state that fundamentally rejects the idea of everyone, including itself, playing by the same rules. And that's exactly where the real path to peace begins. It's not enough to force Russia into a deal. It's not enough to make it stop killing. We must make Russia accept that there are rules in the world and that it cannot deceive everyone. This is the path to lasting peace. And I thank you, Netherlands, for standing with us on this path and for supporting all the elements of the just end to this war, from stopping the killing to defending justice for Ukraine. It truly matters, and I'm sincerely grateful to you for that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, together with partners, we are working not only to stop the bloodshed, but to change the situation along Russia's borders so there is no opportunity to start another war. And we understand that criminals don't change in a day. That's why the talks these days are not only about ceasefire, but about security guarantees. This is not only about diplomacy, not only about physical security. It's also about making Russia finally learn to live by the rule of law. And it will only work if there is true accountability, if the punishment of the aggressor becomes inevitable. Yes, it's not easy, but it's not as difficult as some may try to portray it. We have already done a great job. Now we simply need to press forward and bring the criminal to justice. Last week, I visited one of our cities on the front line, yes, our city of Kupiansk. And it's a city in the eastern Ukraine, and the front line is now very really close to it. And Putin publicly lied, claiming that Russian forces had already taken the city. So I went to Kupiansk myself to show the world Putin is lying, to show only one thing, this. And we must keep exposing every single Russian falsehood, because truth restores justice. And I will continue to destroy every Russian line on the front line and around the world. And I urge you to support Ukraine in this effort. This is how it works. Truth is the ground on which justice grows. The same applies to the issue of damage caused by Russian aggression. Of course, right now, European leaders have the decision on the table regarding frozen Russian assets. Most of these assets allocated in Europe, and these Russian assets can and must be fully used to defend against Russia's own aggression. The aggressor must pay. And this is also about restoring justice, and in a way that Russia will truly feel. Putin does not believe in people. He believes only in power and in money. He spends around 30,000 soldiers' lives on the front every month. Not wounded, 30,000 each month killed. And there was a month when 25,000 Russians were killed. Another month, 31,000. We have drone footage confirming these deaths.